Welcome back, guys. So we're back in Blender for the last time, so let's import our pipe. So file, import OBJ, locate our high poly folder, grab our last item in here, which is the pipe, import, and we'll just middle mouse scroll out to see this a bit better. And we can change the clipping on here as well. So hit N on the keyboard, go to view, let's change this to something like 5,000. Hit N to close it out. And this is a bit different than the rest of the models since it's cylindrical. So we're going to import, instead of a cube, a cylinder. So Shift A, go to Mesh, go to Cylinder. And although we can't see it now, on the bottom left we see Add Cylinder. And here are some attributes that we can affect. And we want to change the vertices from 32 to something closer to 14. Or we can even do 12. Let's do 12. And let's press enter. Now we can close this out by hitting this drop down, and let's press S to scale, and we're going to scale it by 20. 20, left click. Now we're going to go to the move tool, and we're just going to move this to better match the high poly. And really quick, we can rotate this 90 degrees easily by hitting R on the keyboard, which is the shortcut key for rotate, and we can press Y for Y axis and press 90 for 90 degrees. So 90 degrees in the Y axis is what we just rotated, and this looks relatively good, and you can match it up better if you so need to. And I'm going to go to edit mode by tapping tab on the keyboard, going to face select, and then I'll select the back face. Then I'll choose my move tool, and let's line this up. That's actually pretty on point. And we'll line up the front as well. Now what we'll do is delete both the sides by holding Shift and selecting them both and pressing X and go to faces. Now if we toggle off the high poly, we'll see what we have. And I want to add my own custom theme to this. Instead of doing an automatic unwrap, I want to go to edge select the bottom edge that connects the two sides together, right click and go to mark seam. Now when I go back to edit mode by hitting tab to object mode, I can now go to UV editing and locate my low poly here. I'm going to press A to select all. Then I'm going to press U to bring up the unmapping, the UV mapping tools, and I just want to unwrap. So instead of doing smart project, I'll just do a regular unwrap, and you'll see I have exactly what I'm looking for here. Now I'm going to go back to the layout, and I want to change the smoothing on here because typically we didn't worry about it before because we were working with cubes and hard corners and edges, but now this needs to be smooth. So what we'll do is inside of object mode, we're going to right click and go to shade smooth. Now you see we have exactly what we're looking for. It looks nice and smooth. Now we can export this out. So file, export, OBJ, go to our low poly folder, check limit to selection only, and let's name this pipe underscore low, and we can just export it out. Now let's toggle off the low poly and toggle on the high poly. And first thing first, we want to go to edit mode so we can see the topology and add the remesher. And we always add the remesher in edit mode so we don't have preset values. We want to change these ourselves. We want to go to sharp, go to 4, change that to 10, hit enter. Now we can go back to object mode and apply this, because we can't apply modifiers in edit mode. So now that we have this, we can export this out. File, export, OBJ. We'll just save this on top of the high poly pipe. And we're done inside of Blender, so I'll catch you guys over in Substance Painter. Welcome guys, we are now inside of Substance Painter, and I want to load in our low poly model. You guys have made it pretty far. I'm really surprised, and hopefully you guys learn something along the journey, and you guys can utilize this to capitalize on the environment and make it a lot more unified than a lot further than the scope of the tutorial series. So let's bake these maps out. So I'll probably be going back on the environment. I might add a few more props. Now, cool, we can start baking. Alright guys, we're done baking our maps for the pipe. It turned out swell. And this is going to be really simple. We're just going to drag and drop a simple material on here. It's all about going for which one we want. And this actually looks pretty good. And I want to drag this blue chrome on top of here as well. And let's go to layers, and I'll drag the blue chrome underneath here. And that way I can add a mask to this layer. And this is cool. It's a nice little bronze underneath, like undertone. And this is fine for what we need it for. And I can just export this out. And actually I'll dial this back a little bit more. So let's go to the metal and let's go to wear level, and we can just decrease this or bring it up. So this looks somewhere what I was thinking about in my head. So this looks a lot better. So let's export these textures. Create a new folder. We'll make this pipe underscore textures. Dive into there and select it. And choose our Unreal Engine 4 packed template, as well as changing the size to 4K. And I know that's overkill, but I'll do it. And then while this is doing this magic, I'm going to drag that low poly into the textures folder. Grab my pipe, drag this into the pipe textures, and get rid of that MTL. And we are done, guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this section of the series and you guys found it somewhat useful, and you can utilize this on your own practices. And I'll catch you guys over in Unreal Engine 4 so we can start world building.